show, I'm joined by AlisonFoy, who's speaking with us about trust, courage, and attachment in relationships. My name is Danielle, and let's get started. Hi, Ali. Thank you so much for coming in today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
What are some of the first memories you have of your dating experiences? Was it high school that you had that first serious boyfriend?
Yeah, high school for sure. It was really difficult for me because I started high school and that's when my dad got sick again.
Okay.
So for a long time I was like, do I tell guys? Do I not? Because it's like they're gonna come over and see my dad hooked up to an IV.
Right.
So a lot of the time I didn't even entertain guys coming over. Like my dad was like my best friend.
Yeah.
So for me to introduce him to somebody,
I can totally relate.
I was dating someone and I was going away for the summer.
Okay.
To do some volunteering in Africa. I think I was going into grade 11. I was with this guy for a while and I wasn't confident in the relationship at that point. It was like, I can't go there, have my time. Like, my dad had been sick at that point for 7 years. You know, I've never been alone and had the time to put my mind on something else.
Huge piece here. Yeah.
And I just didn't want to be like, hello, what are you doing? Thinking about someone?
You wanted to be so focused. You're doing such a big, huge, exciting thing with your life. And
I remember this summer I was painting the deck because he couldn't do it.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would just sit with me and I'd be painting the deck. And so we had this conversation. I'm like, we broke up. This is why. And I just remember him being like, wow, that's so mature of you. I'm so happy that you've come to that conclusion, and just really positive, and it gave me that reframe that I needed.
It's challenging in different ways.
Yeah.
I think there is this misconception or this idea that the person breaking up has no skin in the game, when actually there's quite a lot of emotion and pain that goes into the person that ends the relationship. It's a different kind of heartbreak, right? Those pieces are getting bumps and bruises and
I came back and same person was in my life again and whatever, and that.
Did you get back together when you came back?
Not officially, it was just this weird, I was just in a lot of stuff at that point.
Yeah, it's they're in your life, they're not a full boyfriend.
Yeah.
But they're that support almost, because it's almost a family member to a very distant extent.
Yeah. It was
like that comfort level.
Yeah. I had a lot going on because I came back. I found out that my dad had surgery, emergency surgery.
Okay.
While I was gone, through an email.
Wow.
And I didn't have enough time to get back. I didn't have the money. To get back, so I had to wait until to go home.
Yeah.
Flight, and I didn't know what was going on. And I just remember coming back, and that's kind of when he went on the downhill. I couldn't cope with it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So this person who wasn't the best for me comes back into my life because it was something familiar and I could draw comfort from.
This whole idea of recycling?
Yeah.
Really, it's you recycle men or women, depending who you are and what you're interested in, and you recycle these patterns. And I had a friend once describe this analogy as if there was a mountain, and when we're recycling, guys, we're circling around the base of the mountain instead of climbing up and moving, those stepping stones to get to that.
Yeah.
I don't like this term, but the right person, essentially, or the person that's most meant for us.
Yeah.
And we're repeating patterns, so we're not getting as much traction.
I know I was constantly, going in circles with these people, few people. I didn't know any better. I didn't know that I deserved more. When I realized, I was like, wow, I need to get the fuck out of here. I was like, wow, this is not what's gonna help me in the long run.
Yeah.
Right? I felt so neglected growing up because of my dad's situation and my mom doing the caregiving.
And different focuses,
that
right?
when I got attention from people, I latched on. It doesn't matter if it was good.
Yeah.
Right? I knew I knew better. These people are not for my best interest. They're doing things that you know, a loving partner, a friend shouldn't even be doing.
Yeah.
It's respect for another person when you communicate who you're with, what you're doing, more than like once a once a week. It's like, don't leave me hanging here, like actually like we're supposed to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So there would be days that would go by without hearing from this
like,
person.
If you need space, let me know. But other than that, like there was just I would feel unwanted, and I guess I attracted that. I attracted situations where
our whole perception is projection thing.
Right.
Yeah. I actually saw a quote that was all about addictions, and I had this huge aha moment, and it was about the addictions because it also talked about addictions to people.
Yeah.
And I can relate to you and where you're going with how when we aren't getting attention, then when we do get attention, and oftentimes it might not be the positive intentions or attentions,
right?
It's something, and it fills a void that was once missing.
Yeah.
And then we end up latching onto that, like you said, and start to crave it, and it's like, when can I get that next high? And the high is in such a non-substance way. It's just that feeling, that void that it fills briefly. And then what we know in the work that we do, then when we step away from that, it's that pain is right back there. It's another pause button, because I really believe that the substances are pauses as well, right?
And that's why I'm so passionate about the work that we're doing, because so many people don't know how to cope with stresses in their lives. Like, you know, not to compare, but people can take on so much. It doesn't matter if it's a parent who's terminally ill, or losing a grandparent, or going through a breakup, or your dog died, like.
Yeah, or having a parent that suffers from alcoholism.
Like it takes one thing. It's the heartbreak, right? It doesn't matter what it is. It still happens. And there's no education in the schools to tell children or teens.
Yeah, you can't be logical and emotional at the same time.
Yeah, oh my god.
So like really allowing yourself to go there and experience the emotions, and then do the logical part, because the two can't coincide. So then you get kids that are going to school, coming up against stuff. They're not able to focus on the studies and things because there's so much going on at home. And it's almost like people see it as, oh, they don't care, they're not focused, they're not this, they're not that. And it's like, where's that level of compassion? You know, like, and I always believe, like, what's going on at home? Like, because there's always that piece.
I didn't know how to, like, talk nicely to myself, because, you know, sometimes it would just be my parents' voice repeating. Yeah. My friend, like the people.
And we weren't really taught, like.
No, it's like, tell yourself you love you. Like, what?
Yeah, right? No, that was a new concept for me, and much later in life.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how when I look at my relationships now.
Yes.
You know, how I had to work through my stuff, and how my partners mirrored to me.
Huge.
All of that stuff that I was, you know, either couldn't see then or was working on.
Until you've healed the piece that you're supposed to learn, you're going to keep attracting partners that are teaching you the same lesson. And so say you're supposed to learn boundaries. Like, you're going to continually attract partners that are going to test your boundaries until you get them. Or else there's always going to be this chaos and trauma. And it's that whole... you marry your unconscious mind, and then you play out all your stuff with them, right? So if our baggage, like you're saying, like if we haven't worked on ourselves before we get into that space, we're bringing all of that stuff with us.
Nice stuff.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. And now we're playing it out with each other. And
exactly.
Knowing what was going on in your family at the time that you decided to go to Africa and pursue, like, that takes such an amount of independence and belief in yourself, because it could have been really easy to stay back and to spend all of your time there, and I think it's that bridge too between, you know, as much as our families would like us to stay with us and have that time with us, like it sounds like your dad really knew that your personal growth would be so great by having that experience. So how would you say you had that confidence even then?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I had some girlfriends who were going and went to some of the meetings, raised money for it. I just felt like it was it was an opportunity for me to immerse myself in people who had nothing and were so positive, and I could bring things for them. And I thought about not going, and then I was like, this is something I need to do for me. And I guess it was the biggest symbolism of putting myself first, because I never have. So for me, you know, now it's still something that I struggle with, but it was the greatest lesson in trusting that it's all going to work out. Like, I got back home and my dad was okay.
Exactly.
You know, and
it's that strength. And talking about trust, because back when you were on the porch and you were talking about the trust, and I think there's a lot of trust in relationships and everything too. Trusting yourself enough to take that time away, and trusting that it was okay and that your family would understand. And it's about you, like you said, at the end of the day, what you had to do for yourself. I just know that there's always those outside factors that we always consider. So what a powerful trust lesson.
Just like, we always talk about perspective. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of a situation to get it. And I literally took myself across the world to get it, right?
I love spending time with Alison. She's such a deep soul, and I get so much beautiful wisdom. She's such a wise beyond her years woman, and thank you so much for sitting and chatting with us today. The big takeaways for me today were especially courage and knowing our own truth. You know, despite the big things that were going on in her life at the time, she was able to still focus on what she wanted to do in that moment, to allow her to get out of the physical space that she was in, to get clarity and to regroup. And if you want more information on how you can develop some tools and strategies to be able to really know yourself and to develop the courage to do things that maybe you haven't been doing but you really want to do, please check out my website below, and we can get connected, have a consult conversation, and learn more about what I can do to help you, guide you on your path with my life coaching. If you'd like to subscribe so that you can see more amazing videos like my one with Alison today, please subscribe below. Thank you and have a great day.